It all comes down to this, as we have Patriots news you need to know ahead of the AFC Championship game between the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. This includes injury designations, matchups to watch, key things to look for in this afternoon's game, and at the end of it all, my score prediction for the AFC Championship. Welcome in, everybody. Today is the day we find out if the Patriots return to a Super Bowl for the first time since 2018, or if they come out flat against Jarrett Stidham and the Denver Broncos in Mile High Stadium. The Patriots arrived yesterday evening, and they'll be ready to go at Mile High today. Really excited to get this one going. Lots to discuss, but of course, the first thing we have to look at is injury reports. We're going to start with the Denver Broncos because we have not talked about it yet on this channel. There's a couple of key things in this report. Not going to talk much about a lot of the questionables just because a lot of them have been announced to have, actually been cleared for the game. They're going to play. But one specific out is a huge one. J.K. Dobbins is out for this game, and that is a very big thing for the Patriots to not have to worry about. He played in just 10 games this year, and yet had over 800 yards, averaging 80 yards per game. He was a really, really good back. In fact, he was on pace to really break his season career totals. And unfortunately for him, he gets injured in Week 10. It was originally stated that it was going to be a season-ending IR injury. He comes off at the very last chance with his practice window opening, but he will practice, but he did not play or will not play today. Before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. If you download Kalshi using the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States, and on their platform, you can trade yes or no on real-life events such as sports, news, elections, pretty much everything. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, Massachusetts, Denver, or anywhere across the country, you can now trade on Kalshi because it's live in all 50 states. For sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. Final chance to trade for the Patriots on Kalshi in this AFC Championship matchup. A $100 trade, which is what I am going with, will get you $150 back. Use your $100 and your $20 bonus on today's trade. I promise you won't regret it. It's genuinely the smarter way to use your sports or news knowledge. You can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi using the link in the description, and don't forget to use this code DIGESTNFL to get your $20 bonus. One extra thing also on the Broncos injury report. Their center, Luke Wattenberg. He had been on IR, got a chance to be activated this week, and he will be activated. He got the questionable tag, but a full participant in all three practices. He is active off the IR. In the corresponding move, they just put Bo Nix on IR, so nothing really to talk about there. We all knew Bo Nix wasn't going to play. But Luke Wattenberg is a very big piece of this Denver Broncos offense. Of course, either center, playing with quarterback, it's a very huge thing. In fact, Garrett Bradbury, the Patriots center, was a limited participant, or actually a non-participant in Thursday's practice due to an illness. And we talked about how important that is because the center, it's truly the one player on the field that touches the ball every single play. So that is a very huge thing for the Broncos. They're going to have their guy at the center position with their backup quarterback, of course, Jarrett Stidham, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Now, as for the Patriots injuries, couple of kind of interesting questionables that we no longer know as questionables. Marte Mapu is still questionable. The deadline to kind of say if he's active, I believe, is 4 p.m. tomorrow. I think it should have been today, but I don't know. Whatever the point is, he is supposedly going to be able to go, but I don't know for sure. Matt Collins, he was questionable. He is active. He was officially taken off IR and will have a chance to play today. Now, he's going to be active. He's going to be on the field. It does not mean that he is going to be out there every single play. We'll have to see what the ability of Matt Collins is. TreVeyon Henderson had an unspecified. Don't worry about that. He just had a personal reason he missed Friday's practice for. Jarrell Jennings, he was on IR. He's not going to be pulled up. And then Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle, he was on IR. He will not be pulled onto the active roster as well. So a couple of things to kind of watch for on that side. But the injury report is something to talk about. We all know, though, the key matchup in this game is going to be Drake Maye versus Jarrett Stidham. Drake Maye, in my opinion, is the NFL's MVP, led the NFL in completion percentage, played fantastic throughout this year. His QBR of 77.1 is a bigger step up than what he had last year. 31 TDs, 4 rushing. He was fantastic, and there's not a lot of things we can say about Drake Maye because they've already been said. We know what he's capable of. We know what he's going to do with the big thing. he's got to protect the ball. He fumbled it 4 times versus the Houston Texans. He had some sloppy plays versus the Chargers as well. And I know that's partially on the offensive line of Will Campbell, but for Drake Maye, understand this defense is the way that the Broncos are going to win the game. So don't let them do it to you. Protect the ball. You win the turnover battle. I have a very hard time seeing you lose this game. Now, Jarrett Stidham on the other side, we've talked so much about his stats. He hasn't thrown a ball since 2023, but what he has done is played in a lot of preseason football. This year, he played in 2 of the Broncos preseason games, starting in one of them. He had 30 completions on 38 attempts, so pretty good completion percentage. His average one per game is about 19 yards average per pass. His passing yards per game, about 188. He did have 4 passing touchdowns to no interceptions. So his preseason this year was by far the best he had as compared to his last couple preseasons, in which the past 2 years he had thrown 3 interceptions to just 1 touchdown. This is a guy that I think people are really starting to realize how good of a football player he actually is. If you're in the NFL, you're going to compete. I don't like that Nick Foles had that tweet about, the Patriots suffer against backup quarterbacks. That didn't sit right. I want to go out there. I want to put the backup quarterback crap to bed and walk out of there of Mile High Stadium champions, but they're going to have to do it against Jarrett Stidham. And that's where we go to the defenses, because they are going to have a very, very, very big say in what happens in this game. And in my opinion, those are probably going to be the two side of the ball that decides who goes on to the Super Bowl. We start first with the Denver Broncos in their regular season ranks. They're second in yards per game allowed at 278.2. They're seventh in passing yards per game allowed in the regular season at 187.2. They were second in rushing yards per game allowed at 91.1. They were third in points per game allowed at 18.3. And they were first in sacks with 68. With an offensive line that is struggling in the New England Patriots, the sack total scares me a little bit. Again, you got to tell Drake Maye, step up in the pocket, understand your presence. If you're going to take a sack, take the sack. I'd rather force Jarrett Stidham to go down the field, use a punt, whatever it might be, than to fumble the ball and give him a short field to work with, or already be in field goal range like what happened against the Houston Texans a couple times. So don't want to have to worry about the turnover battle, but the sacks do scare me. The one thing, though, that is in favor of the Patriots in terms of the Broncos defense is their turnover differential. You see, they are -3 in turnover differential in the regular season, ranking in the bottom third actually of the NFL this year, whereas the Patriots were +3 in the regular season, and Jarrett Stidham has turned the ball over a lot in his NFL career. If the Patriots can force him into throwing some pretty turnover-heavy balls, let's just call them, I think that could really put the Patriots in a position to strike. I think is the best way to put that. And that's obviously something I'm going to be watching for, and we've mentioned it so much. If you can win the turnover battle against a team that's on their backup quarterback and is reliant on their defense for a lot of things, you can be in a very, very, very good position. Patriots turn the ball over a lot against C.J. Stroud, but I'm going to have to say that Jarrett Stidham's going to play better than C.J. Stroud, and it's not that hard to do so, but I still think he will. Now, according to the Patriots defense, though, that is something we have to look at. I'm going to look more at their postseason ranks, because that's where they have played better, and also it's the more recency bias, quote-unquote. Second in yards per game allowed in the playoffs. Fourth in passing yards per game allowed in the playoffs. First in rushing yards per game allowed in the playoffs. They're second in points per game allowed in the playoffs. They've been playing their best football right now, and I hope they can continue that, because if they can, you've got to feel confident in what this team can do, especially having Mac Hollins back on the offensive side. You trust the offense to kind of get that little bit of jolt, a little bit of bump, feeling good, feeling confident, but it's going to be up to the defense and what they're able to basically do against Jarrett Stidham. You don't want to sit here and say that Jarrett Stidham can do some great things, because you want to show confidence. At the same time, he's an NFL quarterback, and you got to be wary of him. And that's going to be a huge, huge, huge storyline to watch in the first couple plays. How does Jarrett Stidham look? What is he doing? If I'm the Patriots and I win the toss, I'm 100% deferring. I'm putting Jarrett Stidham out there on the field. I'm putting my defense out there, and I'm saying, let's play ball. Let's play ball. All right, final time. Predict the score of today's AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Broncos. Get your score predictions in the comments. It'll be the final time you get to do so before the game, so get down there and predict the score of today's game. I've stuck with the same score. I'm going to stick with it all week. 24-17. The Patriots will win this game. I believe they will go up 24-10 late in the game. I'll say fourth quarter, Jarrett Stidham will get them down the field and will get a touchdown to cut it down to that one touchdown lead. Maybe they'll have enough time for the onside kick, whatever it might be. I still think the Patriots pull this out by 7, 24-17. That's my final score. We'll see if I get it right. We'll see if you get it right. But if you're here at the end of the video, I want to say, first of all, thank you. And second of all, you're a real one. So make sure you join us on our Patriots live stream we're going to have today for the game. We'll be live about 30 minutes before kickoff. So make sure you join us. Make sure you tune in. We're really, really excited for it. Had a great stream last weekend, hoping to have even more people and have a bigger party today. And we can celebrate the Patriots, hopefully making or punching a ticket to the Super Bowl. Fingers crossed that's what we get to do. But either way, we're going to be live. And that's all we got for you today. We're excited. My heart's already beating out of my chest, so I'm ready for it. We appreciate you watching. See you next time here on the show. Peace out, guys.